So hello everybody, I was asked to talk about older adults and the internet. And I'll be going over three main topics: seniors on the internet. Internet is an important communication tool not only for seniors but also their service providers. And then our specific experience at Bay Area older adults. So seniors on the internet, the information I'll be showing you is both from national data as well as Santa Clara County specific information. So as you've probably heard, there's a growing population of seniors, not only nationally but also in our county. And for people age 50 and over, based on 2010 and 2011 census information, 30% of the population is 50 and over, and 11% of the population is 65 and over. So it's a pretty large percentage of our population. And the interesting thing is Saratoga, Los Gatos, and Palo Alto have the highest percentage of people age 65 and older in our county. Now, one thing that you might not know is that for the past 10 years, from 2000 to 2010, people age 65 and older are the fastest growing internet users. So they've doubled, and that's faster than any other population shown above. So younger people as well as African Americans and Hispanics. And when you look at why the seniors are using the internet, it's primarily for email, to look for information like news, finances, the weather, and what's a little surprising is for online banking. Now, if you look at the Santa Clara County data, we just finished this huge market research report, and one of the major challenges for seniors is access to information about senior services. And when they asked what kind of services they wanted, primarily it was health-related, recreation, and social. So just like the last two speakers mentioned, isolation is bad, and if you ask anybody, they would like to go to different places with other people, and it's no different for folks who are in older age. There's also educational classes are popular, and they also want information about government benefits such as Medicare and Social Security. Now, when asked where they get most of the information, again, it's a little surprising, but websites, so online information, was the most common way they accessed information at about 60%. And that was followed by newspapers and direct mail. And then they asked, well, how often do you use the internet? And a large majority, 65%, use the internet daily. So you might think it's pretty obvious, but some of the major barriers to using the internet, and this is global information, is financial cost. Not everyone has the money to buy a computer and to have internet service. And then another barrier is that they're not supported socially, like with their friends and family, to actually learn how to use the internet if they weren't using it in their work life or their home life before, and also age-appropriate educational classes, instruction methods. There's also lack of interest, and my guess is that lack of interest is because of the lack of social support and also the educational methods used. So then they become disinterested. At least I know from my mom that was the major reason for the lack of interest. And then there are also physical barriers like arthritis that makes it hard to type, as well as vision and other health problems. So specifically for the county, barriers to accessing information, and that's either online or offline, but specifically online, is again the financial cost. So they don't have the money to afford computers or internet service, and this is the low-income seniors in our county. And then as seniors are older, they may not have been exposed to computers and internet in their work life, so this is something completely new for them to learn. So they're not necessarily comfortable learning something new, even though, just as our last speaker said, it's good to learn new things. The interesting thing is, if you look on this chart, the most significant effect was ethnicity or culture. So it might not be something that folks from other countries that are here, or probably more likely the Hispanic population is shown here, that it's just not something that they do, is to use the internet on a regular basis. Now it turns out that you don't actually have to own a computer or have internet access, because we're lucky in Santa Clara County and that we have a lot of senior centers, community centers, and even libraries. If you've been to any of them, you've noticed a lot of computers. So there are computer rooms, there's free access to computers and the internet, and then they also have free and low-cost classes for seniors. And in addition, I've highlighted SeniorNet because that's one of the really good online resources for tutorials, and they have been really successful in making very simple, easy-to-use classes for seniors. So I'll just tell you a little bit about why the internet is an important tool for communication, especially with seniors. So one thing is that I don't know if you've ever seen some of we have about there's thousands of senior services in the Bay Area. If you put that all into a printed material, it would look like the Yellow Pages. And being that a lot of these services are from nonprofits and the folks that put it together are from the government or nonprofits that don't have a lot of money, that's a very costly thing to do, to put all these resources into a printed materials. So if you have it online, which we do, we have the Council on Aging and the Department of Aging and Adult Services have 2 separate online resources. That makes things a lot cheaper. It's also cheaper because you don't have to pay money and reprint it every time the information goes out of date, which can happen every 6 months or so. Also, since we have ethnic diversity in the Bay Area, you could easily translate online information into many different languages using Google Translate. So that also saves money. The other thing is family members that may be more internet savvy can go to these websites that might not even be in the same state as where they are, print things out, send the information to the seniors, or the seniors can send information to their family members also. The other nice thing is now the browsers have a really easy way to increase the font size. So for people who have vision where they really need to look at things that are large, it's very easy to increase the font size in the pictures. So it turns out, I was kind of curious when I started Bay Area Older Adults, since we were an online resource, well, does the internet have any positive health benefits? And it turns out things that are really logical is that email interaction on the computer. So that allows you to be social, allows you to communicate with other people, and it turns out scientific research showed it improved psychological well-being in folks that were 65 and older. In addition, searching the internet for information like news, finances, health, education gives a sense of empowerment and sense of freedom that has very positive effects on their cognitive health. And since I'm a scientist, I was scrolling through all kinds of publications, and I found something that was really interesting by folks that are researchers at UCLA. And what they did is take a group of seniors between the ages of 55 and 76. They split them up into 2 groups, one group that had never used the internet before, and one group that had used the internet 1 or more times a day. Then they said to everybody, okay, sit in front of a computer and surf or search the internet. And while you're doing that, we're gonna monitor your brains with something called magnetic resonance imaging. You've all probably heard the acronym MRI. And simply put, this monitors the blood flow in your brain, so where the blood is flowing is where your brain is active and stimulated. So what do they find? They found only the group of older adults that use the internet 1 or more times a day that they see stimulation of the brain that played a role in complex reasoning, decision making, and vision, and that this stimulation was even more than reading. So there are a number of reasons why the internet is good for communication, and even possibly moderate use, good for your health. So I'll tell you lastly a little information about our experience at Bay Area Older Adults. So we are a nonprofit 501c3 organization, and we focus on folks who are 50 and older in the 3 counties in the Bay Area, and we promote the health and well-being of seniors through education, outreach, and healthy living programs. And our services include a free, easy-to-use online resource for healthy community offerings and group events, because as people said before, it's important that people do things with other people and be social. And it covers outdoors, fitness, social and cultural activities. And one of the social activities is volunteering, like was mentioned. And the website's translatable into more than 20 different languages, so it's accessible to all the different types of people who live in the Bay Area.